kuchunga fedha hii ambayo inakuja kwa yale makundi ya county ya michezo, ama ukipenda kwa lugha ya kimombo county sports associations, Mr. Speaker. Kwamba niwape ilani kwamba fedha hii si ya kutumiwa vibaya, fedha hii si ya kufujwa, fedha hii ipo kuhakikisha kwamba wale vijana wetu ambao tunawapenda, ambao tunawaenzi, ambao tumekuwa tukiwapatia support aidha kupitia vifaa vya michezo, kupitia pesa taslim, waweze kupata fursa ya kushiriki katika michezo yao kikamilifu, Mr. Speaker. Na vile vile pia niweze kuzungumza kwa serikali zetu za ugatuzi. Ninajua 1% hii ni nyingi kwenu, na ninafahamu kwamba mnafaa kupeana huduma mbalimbali, huduma ya afya, pengine kusambaza maji, kilimo bora, lakini vile vile pia hawa vijana wetu wanahitaji usaidizi, wanahitaji ufadhili. Ile pesa ikikufikia pale Wizara ya Michezo katika kaunti zetu, mimi naomba magavana wetu, mawaziri wetu wa fedha na mawaziri wetu wa michezo nyanjani wawe haraka, wawe wepesi zaidi kuhakikisha kwamba fedha ile imefikishwa kwa makundi yetu yale ya vijana ya michezo pasipo na utepetevu wowote wa kazi wala kucheleweshwa, Mr. Speaker. Ndio ili tuweze kuona matunda ya fedha hii. Na Mr. Speaker, ninajua hivi punde pengine nikipata fursa hata mimi nitaweza kuchangia katika mswada wangu ambao pia tumeweza kusukuma na Seneta Profesa Tom Ojienda wa michezo vile vile. Na nina imani kwamba kupitia sheria zote hizi za michezo, lengo letu ni moja tu, tunapania kuhakikisha kwamba tumeboresha nafasi ya kijana ambaye ana talanta katika michezo. Huyu kijana apate fursa, aweze kuonekana, aweze kutambulika, ili talanta yake iweze kumpatia angalau ajira. Ndio sisi viongozi, na nilani kwa viongozi wenzangu, tuache kutumia hawa vijana vibaya kufanya siasa, kuwatumia kama magenge ya kigaidi kwa siasa zetu. Wakiweza kupata ajira yao kupitia talanta hii, Mr. Speaker, itakuwa ni jambo la kufurahisha sana. Kwa hayo mengi ya machache, Mr. Speaker, mimi naunga mkono mswada huu na naomba tuweze kusukuma kwa haraka iwezekanavyo uweze kupita, angalau hata mimi wikendi 3-4 zijazo niweze kupumzika kwa michango ya hivi vilabu ambavyo vinafaa kusafiri, Mr. Speaker. Asante sana, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Khalwale.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to congratulate Senator Edwin Sifuna for this history. Madam Speaker, I can't concentrate because of the lamentations from Senator Kiregei and Mugatana. Please remind them that under our standing orders, practices and protocols, I'm in leadership.
Senators, please allow Senator Khalwale to proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the protection. I wanted to applaud Senator Edwin Sifuna for this good industry, and I'll quickly want to urge him to realize that this thing is bigger than he thinks. Yes, it is his brainchild, but he needs to bring many more players on board so that we can make this law more comprehensive. Very quickly, establishment of the county sports association fund. For example, he has mentioned how the sources of the fund. We can quickly agree with him with A, B, and C, but also help him to also realize that we can make money from, source that money from gate collections at the various stadia. We can also make money from hiring out the various stadia. Would want to add, Madam Speaker, that we want to demand in this law that we get money directly from the exchequer. Why do I insist that it is noble for us to ask for money from the exchequer? It is because in our budget, we give up to 13% of our budget, Madam Speaker, we put into agriculture. Why? Because there will be returns. Now, viewed as an industry, the economy of sports can generate so much money into our revenue collection. And therefore, I dare say that we should
order,
not...
Senator Mutinda, please don't, sorry, Senator Kavindu, please don't speak on phone loudly. Apologies, Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That we should pump up to 10% from the exchequer of our budget into the sports. And let nobody be surprised with what I'm saying. Because if we can spend the billions of shillings that we pump into political parties, why can we not spend 10% of our budget on sports? And for you to realize how great the returns are from investment into sports, let me just walk you through about what happens in football. Madam Speaker, if you go to the English Premier League, the English Premier League is an 11.84 billion euro economy. That is the equivalent of 235 billion Kenya shillings. And all they do is to kick a ball. But in our case, they'll kick a ball, they will run to be the famous champions of Eldoret. And what's more, Madam Speaker, if we invest, our sports will not just be limited to football and athletics, but I'm slowly waking up the country to the potential of investing in bullfighting. Madam Speaker, because Mamba doesn't believe in this, I want to bring into the attention of the House that in Spain, bullfighting is not a joke. In Spain, and I had the privilege, Madam Speaker, to be sponsored by President Mwai Kibaki to go to Spain, where he allowed me to carry five bullfighters. We went there and visited the stadia and how they organize their bullfighting, and they mint billions of shillings from bullfighting. A day will a day will come when bullfighting of Marinya, when bullfighting of Ikolomani, when bullfighting of Isuka, Malaba and Butoto will be a major income earner to the economy of this country. I tell you. Madam Speaker, having said that, allow me to pay a tribute to President Mwai Kibaki. I've already said he sponsored me and fellow bullfighters to Madrid. But not just that. In 2008, Mwai Kibaki came up with Vision 2030. And inside Vision 2030, yes, he had the pillar on the economy, he had the pillar on political stabilization of the country, but he also had the pillar on the social issues. Under sports, that's how Kibaki, after realizing what bullfighting would do in the social pillar, he was able to put money into us to go and learn something. Courtesy of that investment, I was able to kickstart the construction of a stadium in Malinya. That stadium has stalled, but I know, God willing, once I become the governor of Kakamega, I am going to complete Malinya Stadium. And every time we have a bullfighting event, Madam Speaker, Nissans will be arriving in Malinya, and each tourist will be paying $100 $100, only $100. A Nissan can carry up to around 14 people. So at $100, one Nissan, we shall be netting $1,400. To fill that stadium, we shall be needing in excess of almost 50 Nissans. You cannot imagine the multiplier effect of that industry, I believe. Madam Speaker, Kibaki wanted to quickly transform Kenya into a middle income country by the year 2030. And as adequately articulated by Senator Osotsi, when the Jubilee government took over from Mwai Kibaki, they went and found inside the sports fund billions of shillings, and they started salivating for those billions, and that's how the stadium that Kibaki had wanted to grow from this initiative came to note. I cannot, Madam Speaker, comment by paying tribute to President Kibaki and forget about a young man from my backyard by the name of Honorable Ababu Namwamba. Not many people know that Ababu was a square peg in a square hole in that ministry. Ababu was a symbol of success when he was Minister for Sports. It is under Ababu that the ban on FKF by FIFA was lifted. That is how Kenya came back into competing in soccer. It is during Ababu's time, Madam Speaker, that the soccer events that now have been reinvigorated in our secondary schools came up. Today, if you go to our secondary schools, the soccer that used to be in Green Commandos, Kakamega High School, the Scorpions of Musingo High School, the champions of Kisii High School, the champions of Kisumu Boys are back. They are now competing thanks to efforts by Ababu. I want to celebrate Ababu because Ababu, the Talanda Sports City in Ngong, was his brainchild. And when you go there, the construction which was ongoing, I wonder, how was the decision made to remove Ababu, who was performing, and then bring there people like the way I saw, it's called Ruku. I saw a guy called Ruku being interviewed to become minister. The guy struggled. Then they put there another lady, Madam Speaker, called Jeptumo, with due respect, wife of our colleague, but she's not material for minister. You saw the minister who is going to be in charge of gender, telling the whole country which cared to listen that the reason why our young girls die in Airbnbs is because they're hungry for money. You'll have your space. You'll challenge
What's your
me.
point about Senator
me.
Professor Kamar? Please sit down, Senator Khalwale.
Madam Speaker, did you hear the honorable member tell us that an unqualified person, I don't even want to mention names, has been elevated to be minister? Which criteria does the honorable Alwala have for appointment of ministers, which we don't have in this house?
Senator Khalwale, unless you're able to
Madam
demonstrate
Speaker,
that
because of the respect I have for Prof,
you will withdraw.
I wish she had told me what she wanted me to do. She has not told me, but because of the
Senator.
respect I have for her, all I meant, Prof, and I'm a very serious debater, is that
Senator Khalwale, Senator Professor Kamar, you want to clarify what you said?
Yeah, by saying if he does not have a criteria that is laid out, that somebody has that the National Assembly has failed to use, then it should really withdraw that. It should not be now answered.
Senator Halwale, you need to demonstrate that the idea of amendment was not met by the National Assembly, or withdraw what you said.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm surprised that a teacher of a university can fail to remember that the high standard
Senator
of
Halwale,
appointing ministers, I'm now expanding.
no,
of
no,
appointing-
Senator Halwale, you just want to explain how the two ministers, and you made reference to two ministers, failed to meet the qualification standard set, that is required of ministers.
Okay, let me prove it this way. Madam Speaker, the standard of a minister under the new constitution is specified. They are not only appointed by the president, but they are supposed to undergo rigorous vetting. It is because of what Kenyans saw during the rigorous vetting that we realized
Senator
they failed.
Halwale, the allegation is by you, not by Kenyans. Can you please just
Yes,
go
it
to
is,
the
it
point?
is that rigorous vetting which I witnessed that made me get persuaded that they will not perform. You can't pretend. You either have it or you don't have it.
Senator Halwale, you have not demonstrated that the Senator Halwale, this is serious.
Yes.
You have not indicated the bar that they did not meet. Please.
Madam Speaker, because I'm discussing about colleagues, I don't want to take it beyond what I've said, but if Prof insists, I'll withdraw. Madam Speaker,
Senator Halwale, it's not Prof insisting. It is the chair who is asking you to withdraw because you have not demonstrated what I've asked you to demonstrate. Would you kindly withdraw?
Madam Speaker, because the chair is my kid sister, I want to make her very happy by by withdrawing.
Order, Senator Halwale.
Thank you, Madam.
Senator, the chair is the chair.
You know, I have withdrawn. I withdraw. Madam Speaker, the issue that is very clear in my mind is that if we fall back to Vision 2030 that was envisioned by President Mwai Kibaki in 2030, where development of stadia was a priority, if you care to read it, President Kibaki wanted that in every county today, we would be having a stadia. High quality. And because of the talent that abounds, you can't imagine the latent talent that would untap. Who would have known until recently that lawyers can produce some of the best athletes? The fastest man in Africa today is Ferdinand Kahayanga Omonyala. The fastest man in the world in 800 meters is none other than Wanyonyi from Bungoma. I forgot to say that Ferdinand Omanyala Kahayanga, the grandmother, no. I would love to. The grandmother of Ferdinand is called Mshere Wakahayanga, who happens to be my elder sister. That is my grand nephew, if there is such a thing. So, Madam Speaker, we want to insist that we give each county a stadia. But for huge counties like Nairobi, because of the population, we give them more stadia. Kakamega the same, Bungoma the same, Mombasa the same, Nakuru the same, Kiambu the same. Madam Speaker, the success of sports lies on how you nurture it from the youth. In Brazil, children join the academies between the ages of 5 and 10. In the UK, they join around about 10, 11 years old. In Kenya, because of the challenge of liquidity, we cannot be able to put up stadia and also put up school football academies fast enough. However, there's a response. We can start by part of this money, Senator for Nairobi, being directed to schools. It is not in doubt where football talent is in Kenya. It is normally very rare to get players from other areas succeeding at the highest level in soccer, but that normally happens very fast for children from Coast, for children from Western, for children from Nyanza, and specifically the Luyas and the Luos. We are the giants of football. Madam Speaker, I would love that we specifically take money to Kakamega High School, Msingo High School, Kisii High School, Kisumu Boys, and Highway Secondary School here in Nairobi. They're the ones who are perpetually winning the national championships for football. Madam Speaker, having said that, there is something which I saw, it started drawing laughter, but I have actually calculated the bullfighting that I was referring to. In Spain, it is a 1.6 billion euro economy in Spain. This is equivalent to 235 billion shillings. And our bullfighting is more sophisticated than the bullfighting of Spain, because the one of Spain, they end up murdering the fighter bull. But in our culture, in our type of sport, the fighter bull is idolized, it is celebrated, it is immortalized. The money that we go to borrow from Europe so as to invest in sports, we don't have to. There is talent there which we need just to grow by minimal investment. As I was telling you, the Champions League, not Champions League, the English Premier League is an 11.84 billion euro shilling. This translates to 2 trillion shillings, Kenya shillings. So at our fingertip right there, we have an answer to how we can fund sports. With those many remarks, I want to celebrate Senator Cherargei, Senator for Nandi. I had the opportunity, Madam Speaker, to confirm that he's a footballer. But he shocked me when I saw him on the ball. I didn't know, when I saw his shape, I didn't know it was the player or whether it was the ball. With as many I support.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me start by really appreciating my Senator of Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, for this great bill. Madam Speaker, I would request that you ask Senator Boni to
Order. Please listen to Senator Mutinda. She listened to you as you presented.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Let me really repeat and say we really are proud of this bill because, Madam Speaker, this bill goes a long way. The generation that we have today, Madam Speaker, is very much talented from different perspectives, Madam Speaker. And this bill the way I've looked at it, Madam Speaker, is talking about the sports fund at the county levels, Madam Speaker. Let me begin by clause 54B, Madam Speaker, which talks about this, the County Sports Association Fund, and further talks about Part A on the 1% from the CRF account, Madam Speaker. For me, from where I sit, Madam Speaker, as the Vice Chair of Finance, even this 1% is not really sufficient. But with the current situation, it's a good pointer for starting because they are introducing this particular fund. Later, maybe the percentage can be increased. It's a good point to start. But Madam Speaker, the reason I'm bringing this issue of the percentage is because currently the equitable share is 387.4. A percentage of that, Madam Speaker, is about 38 billion for all the 47 counties, Madam Speaker. And this is what how I would want, sorry, 3.8, Madam Speaker. And this is how I would want to look at it, Madam Speaker. From the conversations we've had at the committee level, at the Senate level, in regards to equitable share amounting to 465 billion. That is what we've currently proposed in BPS as a committee, Madam Speaker. You saw National Assembly did propose 405. Let me really thank the Prime Minister, none other than Honorable Raila Amolo, for his champion when it comes to the funds at the county levels. He has championed, he has come out to broadly and strongly state that counties should be allocated their fair share, Madam Speaker. And I don't know why it has to be a fight between the lower house and the upper house. Simply when it comes to the issue of the equitable share or any other fund that the Senate proposes for the counties. A few weeks ago, Madam Speaker, we came back in this house for a special sitting to pass the county additional allocations, which were amounting to over 50 billion, so that our counties are not stuck. We've seen the challenges when it comes to timely disbursement of the equitable share also to the counties. And Madam Speaker, as we speak, as early as yesterday, the members of parliament walked out when the chair introduced the bill, the county additional allocation, on this condition, Madam Speaker, which is very sad. On the condition.
Senator Mutinda, would you like to be informed?
Yeah, with my former chair, I would not mind.
You may.
Madam Speaker, indeed, it was a sad day for Kenya when members of the National Assembly walked out when the chair of budget.
Senator, what is your point of information? What is your information?
I'm now coming to my point of information,
yes.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say that it is sad that what the senator is saying today is what happened. And even now, I have just been there and the members have again walked out when the mover was moving the bill. Mr. Speaker, this is the highest level of parliamentary dictatorship in this country. That's what I wanted to inform her, that
so
we
the
are
information
experiencing
is that they have
parliamentary.
Don't use the opportunity to speak. Senator Mutinda, proceed.
Thank you, Senator Ososi. And Madam Speaker, that is what transpired yesterday. Thanks for information, Senator Ososi, because you've informed me that is still what is currently transpiring. And I understand where Senator Ososi is coming from, Madam Chair. I remember boldly I might not have been there, but I'm informed that boldly Senator Ososi stood up and raised the same question, the same concern at the relevant forum. And I know where he's coming from. And I really appreciate him when it comes to championing, of course, funds to the county government. You know, he's going to be a future governor. So, but all in all, he championed just not only for Vihiga County, but for all the 47 counties. That is leadership, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my point is in relation now to the funds. We saw after the finance bill was not assented to, we had to again lower the allocation. As we speak, the allocation stands at 387 billion, Madam Speaker. You can hear what is happening as far as the county additional is concerned. I've said they have proposed 405 for equitable share. What will happen? The National Treasury had the same proposal, but what will happen? We're not even sure, because it's like National Assembly is now just trying to put down counties, which is not, of course, the best way to go. I want to really urge the leadership of the National Assembly to sit with the leadership of the Senate and to have amicable solution as far as funds to the counties are concerned. I don't want to go to the other issues that we've seen, bills coming from National Assembly, bills are coming from Senate. As far as these funds are concerned, Madam Speaker, what we should know is that at the end of the day, they are serving our people at the ward level, at the village lowest level. All these funds are supposed to serve our people. Now, back to the issue of this bill, Madam Speaker. Sports cuts across different sports. I've seen, the Senator Sifuna has talked about financing the development of sports facilities, including stadiums, gymnasiums, building and tracks. That is good, because these buildings also need to be maintained, need to be in the standards that is needed. The sports can be broadened. We don't need to narrow just to the football alone. There are other, we are in 2025, there are other mode of sports that are also coming up, which should also be factored so that these talents are nurtured from a lower level. I agree that sports is in schools, and also it is at the mashinani level where our young people mostly are. And so the bill talks about funding to be given to teams that have a certificate of registration issued under the Sports Act 2023. This is okay. It should not just be limited to support teams within the learning institutions that are well established. Even those ones who have come up and decided to have their own teams, they should be supported. Madam Speaker, clause 54F, F for France, 2, talks about a person who wishes to receive funding from the fund and meets the criteria set out under section 54E shall at least 6 months before the commencement of the financial apply for administrator of the fund in a manner as prescribed by the board. My concern is on the duration, 6 months. I didn't know why the senator decided to put it 6 months. Looks like quite a long period for people to meet deadlines, for people to be spot on what is required, for the administrators to be able to plan accordingly and strategically. I think it would be wise to reduce that period, maybe say for about 3 months, so that you don't give too much room. And then, you know, there has been this weakness at times of people seeking extensions and things like that, God forbid. But at least just lowering it. I didn't know why the 6 months, maybe we'll explain later, but just from how I've looked at it, 6 months would be quite a long period of time. Madam Speaker, the other day we saw the team called the Kenya Grannies Mute FC. These are women aged between 52 to 75 years. I saw them emotionally cry for them having achieved their dream, a dream of going, one, of going out of this country, and two, of playing with another international, team. And that was Kenya and South Africa. They played with South Africa. And a beautiful part, Madam Speaker, they even won. They were so overjoyed. They were so happy. These are women between the age of 52 to 75, Madam Speaker. Then I asked myself, Madam Speaker, if when they were at the age of probably between 25 to their 40s or 50s, 25 to 40, let's say, if they nurtured their talents from then, what would we be having? We'll be having an international team, probably. We'll be having a team that has excelled to the highest international levels, Madam Speaker. This is a clear example of success when it comes to sports. I'm really very proud of this team. Madam Speaker, I am a patron of Kayole Stars, of very young, beautiful, intelligent girls from Kayole who have a team, who I support very much. And now I'm even happy because where we represent here in the city, this is the biggest county. And this is just one among the many teams that I do support. Now with this fund, and of course, because Madam Speaker, charity begins at home, and with our good Senator of Nairobi, of course, the delegation of Nairobi, will have a good opportunity to ensure that these funds are utilized by our people. So they go a long way. These are the talents that we should nurture, because our children have really portrayed excellence in this. Lastly, Madam Speaker, so that I give my colleagues also time to make their comments, I want to appreciate the chair of FKF, Hussein Mohammed. We've seen how he's been out here supporting teams, and I'm happy because he also continues to support my teams in the different sub-counties that they come from, something that I thought it would be good to also acknowledge, Madam Speaker. With those many and few, I look forward also to hearing Senator Chimera's bill on sports. I've inquired from him, and he's told me it's about the sports academies, and it's excellent because bringing this to the fund where we nurture the individuals, the players themselves, and also an academy, then we are really doing very well. When we travel normally out there, when you say you're from Kenya, apart from tea and coffee that we are very much associated with proudly, well, sports is something that internationally people really reference us as Kenyans with. So with those and few, I do really support and appreciate Senator Sifuna. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute in this bill. Madam Speaker, I rise in support of this bill, and I would just hammer the issue that this bill is making it mandatory that money be set aside for sports activities. In a county such as Tana River, Madam Speaker, sporting activity is ignored, neglected. Sports development is not there. In fact, the much that the county does is supporting its own team, which is in very low levels as far as the rating and standing of teams in Kenya is concerned. So, yet, Madam Speaker, in the Constitution, in the 4th schedule, Part 4, it is very clear that cultural activities and sporting activities are supposed to be the responsibility of the county government. But in some of our counties, and Tana River being one, they don't put money in these activities. And Madam Speaker, it's a very, very sad situation. So this law, when it takes effect, it would make sure that 1% at least of the monies that go to the county is set aside for sports and development of sporting facilities. This is a very beautiful development and we should all support it. And I'm very happy that it has found its space in the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Madam Speaker, what has then happened in Tana River is that people have come up with different clubs. You know, you find those who are a bit capable in this village and the other and the other. People come up with their own clubs and try to support them. And Madam Speaker, the most successful club is called Sango Sportif. Sango Sportif FC. We say Sango because Sango is supposed to be our great 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 grandfather, a famous warrior, Sango Vere, who led our community against invaders in many of those years back then. So the most successful club is called Sango Sportif Football Club, and it plays in League Division Two, and it has done very well. And what is harming this club is the lack of financial support. All the time, Madam Speaker, we are always called to support it. Now, if we had a fund that makes sure talent such as this is supported, then, Madam Speaker, we will go very far. In fact, if you look at what Sango Sportif is doing, you would be very proud of what they have done so far. They not only have a team that is playing away, very many matches away in the regional competitions, but they now have started an under 12 division. And this under 12 division, they are using, they are bringing in young people to nurture talent. So this is not just a club that has come in the whims. These are people who are very serious and very dedicated in supporting football in Tana River County. Yet the county government has not stepped up to its responsibility. So it is time now we legislate from the Senate here and say we need to put money. We need to put money to support sports, especially clubs that have started and struggling on their own, and they're doing well even in these difficult circumstances. Madam Speaker, I have seen young men who have had their school fees paid for because they are playing in the team, and their school fees is disturbing them. We sit together and we help them, Madam Speaker. They have formed a self-help group and it is helping them. Madam Speaker, this Sango Sportif has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that if we invest in sport, there's a direct injection that helps our people down there to benefit from sports. Madam Speaker, I remember another time when we even had to to take some young people from another team and actually make some financial arrangements for them to join this team and grow its strength. So, Madam Speaker, all this is being done with private hands, with leaders' hands, with people, ordinary members who are just giving contributions. It should not be this way. It should be that county governments take up their responsibility for sports and develop actual talent where it is being noticed. But this is not what is happening. So, for us to get the compulsive power to push sports and develop sports to higher level, I think this law, this bill, once it becomes law, is the way we should go. I have had colleagues here contributing and worrying about, I don't know, where shall we find the money, and so on and so forth. I think that is a secondary concern. If we say you are getting, like in Tanariva County, you are getting 8 billion that is coming down to the county as each equitable share. If we say the same amount, 1%, the idea is to get the county to actually budget for sports development in the county. So we are not asking for extra money. We are asking that county governments take the responsibility to also develop sports, because some of our counties are not doing that. In fact, our counties like ours, they are only, supporting the team that is in the county government and nothing more. So, Madam Speaker, for me, I think 100%, let us go with this law, let us support it, let us push it to see it to the end, and let governors out there also realize that sports and sports development is critical for the benefit of the youth of this country. A lot of times when we are doing these campaigns, Madam Speaker, people promise a lot, and then when they are in charge of the budget, they do different things apart from the things they promise to the people, which is very sad. So now we are forced to legislate from the top to say there must be money set aside. And this sports fund is not for the county team. It's not for the county team. It's not to buy uniforms for the county team. It's not supposed to be giving the CEC sports an opportunity to go and travel out of the country, go and watch, believe it or not, in Tana River it has happened that some MCAs and whatever were actually carried to go and watch world football I think it was in some years ago. They were carried and they were taken to go and watch some football outside the country. But all that money was available for travel, for emoluments, but it was not available for sports development. So, Madam Speaker, we want the governors in this country to understand that this money is not going, is not supposed to be for officials. It's supposed to be for actual development of sports and sporting facilities in the county, because you have not been doing that for most of you. So, Madam Speaker, with those many words, I beg to support. Thank you.
I don't see Senator Chesang, so the mover may reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply and begin by thanking all the senators who have spoken on this bill. Honorable Speaker, I'll be very quick so that we can allow Senator Chimera to also move his bill that deals with county academies and the protection of minors involved in sport. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by thanking the seconder, the Honorable Sosi, the Honorable Karen Nyamu, who has also spoken to this bill, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Olekina, Senator Chimera, Senator Khalwale, Senator Mutinda, Senator Mungatana, last but not least, who have all spoken to this bill. And I was taking notes as they were speaking. I think Senator Mungatana has nailed it properly when he said, the Constitution says sports is a devolved function. And we expect that when the county governments put money in development of infrastructure, they must also support talent development through the registered associations. What we are doing here, Honorable Speaker, is that although the responsibility is there on the county governments, and the governors are very fond of shouting, saying money must follow functions. Even at the county government, those functions must be financed. And this is why we are saying, now that they are not doing it, I began by telling the House that Nairobi City County, if you look at their budget of over 43 billion, there is not a single line that is assigned to supporting talent development and sports development in the county through these associations. I also presented to you, Honorable Speaker, a letter from the Nairobi Boxing Association, and whom I want to thank because they are the ones who started this conversation with me, showing that for them to attend a tournament in Mombasa, they have to move around with a begging bowl, moving from one office to another, just to raise 117,000 Kenya shillings for them to be able to travel to a tournament in Kakamega or in Mombasa. It happened the first time, I gave them what I had. When they came the second time, I told them we have to find a permanent solution. And they agreed with me that it has to be sustainable. Today, Sifuna might have something in his pocket. Tomorrow, he has nothing. And I want to just calm the anxieties of the senator for Narok by saying this. Number one, Honorable Speaker, you know for a fact that under Article 114, we cannot, as a Senate, originate a money bill. A money bill, if you were to go into questions of the consolidated fund or even monies that are appropriated at the national level, that would automatically turn this bill into a money bill and it would be prohibited. Therefore, the money we are addressing here is the money that finds itself in the County Revenue Fund, the CRF, that is the equitable share, together with the monies that are raised locally by the county governments. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it would be in order, because sports is devolved. We are talking about money that is in the hands of the counties only. We can have conversations about grants, because immediately you have a fund, Honorable Speaker, it is actually allowed for you to get grants even from national government. But we want to ring fence this money in a fund that will be specifically for registered sporting associations. I want to remind the House that if you look at the proposed clause 54B1C, other sources of money have been proposed, including grants or donations from the national government or international agencies for purposes of supporting county sports associations. And I am sure for as long as we ring-fence this money, we will see a lot of support coming in from even private organizations and international organizations to support sporting activities in Nairobi. Senator Mutinda might not have been here, but I had indicated that in fact during the committee hearings, the public hearings, we had agreed with the stakeholders that we will remove any reference to financing of infrastructure from this bill, because that was not the intention. The counties must continue building infrastructure. It's very expensive. I'll give you an example, Honorable Speaker. In the last financial year, the governor of Nairobi told us he has put 500 million shillings in the renovation of City Stadium alone. Now, the money that we are talking about, if we we pass this bill, 1% of the, say, 40 billion Kenya shillings that we raise as Nairobi through the equitable share and even locally raised revenue, on-source revenue, would amount to about 400 million Kenya shillings for all the registered sporting associations in Nairobi. And I want you to consider, Honorable Speaker, the indignity that these sporting associations are going through. That is what we want to fix, that they should be able to hire halls, they should be able to pay referees, they should be able to have transport, they should be able to buy food for when they travel for these tournaments. That is all we are saying, and that is all this bill seeks to do. So we will remove, I'll be bringing an amendment at the third reading stage of this bill to remove every reference. I think that is in clause 54C part D, that had said financing the development of sports facilities, including stadia, gymnasiums, buildings, and tracks. By the way, the governors were very happy about this clause. Do you know why, Honorable Speaker? Because it would reduce the amount of money that they would have to put in building stadia. They were very happy, because I have told you, one stadium alone, City Stadium, one financial year, 500 million Kenya shillings. So if you tell Sakaja that now he has reduced, we have only 300 million shillings to sporting association and also to build infrastructure, he'll be more than happy, because I think there is a lack of appreciation of the potential of sport to be able to change lives in Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to conclude by an observation that came from Senator Mungatana, that this money is not for officials. It is not going to support the county team. No, 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 no. It is for registered county sporting associations. So the county association responsible for football, if you look at clause 54F 3F, part of the application process is that all these registered, you have first to be registered. You must show us a certificate of registration issued under the Sports Act. Then you have to give us details and signatories of bank accounts in the name of the association where the funds shall be channeled. This money will be sent from the fund to the accounts of the registered sporting associations, and then to be executed or to be utilized in the proposed manner in accordance with the annual work plan which you have provided for, and then to be accounted for in the manner in which you have provided for, Honorable Speaker. So it is not for the CEC of sports to go and watch Arsenal and Real Madrid, or the next one I think is Arsenal is facing PSG. No, that is not the reason. We want these people who have been coming to our offices with begging balls to just raise money to travel to Viga or to
Mombasa to be able to take care of these small bills. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply, and pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I request that you defer putting of the question to a later date. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator for Nairobi, the Honorable Sifuna. The putting of the question on this particular bill is deferred to a later date. Next order.
Order number 15, the sports amendment number 2, bill, Senate bills number 45 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, Speaker, I wish to move the sports amendments bill being bill number 2, 2024. Speaker, let me start first by tournaments. My good Senator Wakoli from Bungoma is a champion of that. I've attended many of his volleyball tournaments in Bungoma. The good senator from Tana River, who's just ably and eloquently spoke about the bill as proposed by Senator Edwin Sifuna on the funding on county sports associations, to Speaker, has also been on the forefront trying to organize basketball tournaments. The majority leader here, Senator Alan Chesang from Trans Nzoia, and myself, I think virtually I've had a chance. And Mr. Speaker, you've had an opportunity to come and witness amazing football in Kwale County, courtesy of the Wakili Chimera Super Cup initiatives that have been organized in virtually every ward, Mr. Speaker. I think I've done these tournaments, football tournaments, from Wereni ward in Lungalunga constituency, to Pongo Kikoneni ward, to Kinondo and Bungagombatu ward in Msambweni constituency, Kasemeni ward, and Puma ward in Kinango constituency, as well as Simba Golini ward in Matua constituency, Mr. Speaker. That means I've done tournaments across the county, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, after the tournaments, what next for those people who participate in this tournament, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, allow me to cite a young man by the name of Kevin Olo. I know Kevin Olo, his boss might not have a chance to mention him on the floor of this house for obvious reasons, Mr. Speaker. But Kevin Olo has been on the forefront in our social media fora in Kwale, saying there's no Super Cup in Kwale other than only one Super Cup. He says the rest are not Super Cups. Even the Honorable Masito Fatma, who is our women rep, Super Cup. Kevin Olo has always cast aspersions as to what constitutes a Super Cup. But the only Super Cup in his mind that he really identifies with is the Rashid Abdallah Super Cup, football bonanza in Kwale County. And Mr. Speaker, we need to give credit where it is due, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to applaud and recognize and congratulate efforts by one gentleman, Rashid Abdallah, and his wife, Lulu Hassan, for their steadfast and resolute industry efforts and discipline and commitment in running what is perhaps the largest football bonanza in Kwale County, the Rashid Abdallah Super Cup edition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, football clubs in Kwale County, like a club that is very dear to me. I mean, all clubs in Kwale are dear to me, but this one has really distinguished itself. Denmark Football Club from Maganyakulu and Matuga constituency, Mr. Speaker. This is a club that over time has participated in many tournaments, but now as I speak here today, Mr. Speaker, they are participating in a nationwide league because they started from very non-script tournaments, either done by politicians, done by well-wishers, and most notably, Mr. Speaker, recently, through the Rashid Abdallah Super Cup, Denmark Football Club now has a name nationally, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, it will be travesty of justice if I don't subscribe and mention before on this floor, Mr. Speaker, their rallying motto, or that football club, being Denmark Football Club. They say, allow me to speak in Swahili, Mr. Speaker, because that rallying call is in Swahili. I can't be able to translate it in English. They say, hii ni Denmark wewe, kataa uongo. Mr. Speaker, I am happy that through these tournaments, we have real world-class talent that is being showcased to the nation and to the world. Mr. Speaker, the hallmark of this bill is about identifying, nurturing, and promoting sports talent. Not necessarily football talent, Mr. Speaker, but sports talent, so that we can allow our young men and women to have this talent identified, nurtured, promoted, and hopefully, Mr. Speaker, turned into an economic gaining activity, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I also want to take this chance to laud the Ministry of Sports, Youth Affairs, and the Creative Economy, led by my able Governor Emeritus, Honorable Salim Ngala Mvurya, for breathing life into this bill, Mr. Speaker, even before it becomes law. As we speak, I think yesterday I was supposed to be in Taru, in Kenamo constituency, accompanying the CS as he was launching the Sport Academy at Taru High School. Today, as we speak, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable CS has just launched the Matuga constituency Sports Academy at Matuga Girls. That speaks to life on this bill, Mr. Speaker. That government has seen the need to promote talent by already walking a step ahead in establishing these sports academies, Mr. Speaker, so that our many young talented men and women can have a continuous platform where they can showcase their talent, where scouts, both local and international scouts, can come and scout for real talent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is painful when I run a tournament, and most of the time you actually come to this tournament, Mr. Speaker. And we give them money. We give them football jerseys, we give them all the support that is required. But shockingly enough, 2-3 weeks thereafter, that money is split amongst the players. The players do not have anything else to show. The club has nothing else to show. They are waiting for the next subsequent politician to come and run a tournament for them to be able to get something or to live off the talent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that time this act of misusing our talented young men and women must come to an end, Mr. Speaker. And that is what all this bill is all about, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have seen tremendous talent in rural areas, Mr. Speaker. When you want to talk about football, you're talking about basketball, you're talking about indoor games, Mr. Speaker, you need to invest your time in the rural areas, Mr. Speaker. There are small clubs like Bombani FC, a club like SS Asad, again, I repeat, a club like Samburu Lions, with amazing talent, Mr. Speaker. But this talent is wasted because there's no known law or policy or framework that allows our young men to progress with their sporting talent up to the extent of being scouted and recruited to play for leading Premier League clubs such as Tusker FC. I know this is debatable. Sometimes we don't take a lot of pride in speaking about our Premier League, Mr. Speaker. We always speak about the English Premier League, but I want to tell you, the first port of call is home, Mr. Speaker. I believe with the introduction and establishment of this sports academy, Mr. Speaker, this will provide a unique chance where we'll be able to appreciate and grow homegrown local talent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to move and I call upon Senator Cherargei to second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, as I rise to second this Sports Amendment Bill number 2 of 2024, I'm impressed by the strides made by our in-law. Mr. Speaker, when I'll be Easter holidays in the village, I'll make sure I pass to a good friend who is a father-in-law, who is a very close friend of mine, one of the synod members of Anglican Church of Kenya. And I imply upon him that the senator and our in-law is doing very well in terms of the roles as being envisaged in Article 96. Mr. Speaker, I think today afternoon has been very sporty. From the sports amendment on issues of financing on sports association fund to now the sports academy. Mr. Speaker, it has, in my opening remarks, it is very unfortunate that the sports of this country depend on tokenism or handouts. I think the mover of the motion, Senator Chimera Raphael, has heavily indicated that the lifeline of most of these sports clubs, even Kormaya, even AFC Leopards, even my own athletes in Nandi County, depend on handouts, where we are giving them, and then when they win, we post very beautiful messages on our Twitter accounts, on social media platforms to appreciate them. I think it is a high time now that we need to develop this talent. We only appreciate most of these athletes, sportsmen and women of this country when they have made it. And I know when Senator Chimera organizes a football tournament, which he has referred to super, I think he needs to work hard, because if I have not heard about that super part, then he's not doing very well. But Mr. Speaker, I will try and be keen next time. So what we are trying to do, Mr. Speaker, is where do these athletes come from? And you remember, Mr. Speaker, I brought a statement where now we are having a challenge between primary school sports association and secondary schools, where 16-year-olds are no longer allowed to participate, yet most of them are in grade 9 now who have achieved 16 years. And that matter ended in court. We need to develop this sports, Mr. Speaker. I know the quarters of UEFA just ended, and Arsenal yesterday did marvelous. Now we are headed to semis of UEFA, Mr. Speaker. Most of these players you heard about it, be it Vinicius Junior, be it Lamine Yamal of FC Barcelona, be it Saka of Arsenal and many other, and even Kylian Mbappe. Mr. Speaker, most of them, if you look at their history, their talent has been built at the academies. If we want to nurture the talents that we have in this country, we must come up with sports academies. I'm happy. I don't know whether the mover of the motion meant that the previous minister of sports did not do well, which I agree. I think CS Vuria is doing very well, because somebody who was there was more of opulence and show off. And therefore, we need, and I hope Senator Vuria is following this very serious conversation, that if it is possible, we are not demanding a lot, Mr. Speaker. Out of my 6 sub-counties, if we can establish a sports academy. We are willing even to donate our maize, 10% of our maize, and even milk, because, you know, Mr. Speaker, if you run, you need to eat a lot. You need to eat a lot. So we are willing to partner in formation of sports academies, Mr. Speaker, so that our young men and women, I was telling the young people the other day, Mr. Speaker, not all of us can be leaders, not all of us can also go to university, not all of us can become clerks the way they are at the table here, Mr. Speaker. Not all of us can become speakers. But if we develop the talent, and I hope since you are friends with Governor Salim Vuria and also your colleagues in Council of Governors, please tell him to work on the sports academy. But also, we must tie up sports academies with the stadia, and also the role of MCAs in oversighting, because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot be oversighting these sports academies because it will spend public funds. So I hope the county public accounts and public investment committees at the local level of county, of Mr. Speaker, of our MCAs could do that. And that is why members of county assembly and county assemblies are critical. We were just discussing formation of sports association fund. We are now discussing formation of sports academies. And we rely the members of county assembly to ensure that, you know, in Nandi, for example, Governor Sang, for example, told us he was constructing sports ACD center, but he ended up constructing ECD classroom. You know, there is a big difference. In the ACD center, in the BQ, we used to have sleeping area for the young kids, ablution block, classroom, and a staff room for ECD teachers. But he went ahead and constructed a one classroom of ECD and called it an ECD center. So we need oversight at the local level so that we ensure, Mr. Speaker. And that is why I want to challenge county assembly instead of these fighting and these challenges that we are seeing. And I'm happy the devolution committee made a progress report about Nyamira, for example, county assembly. And I'm happy that a matter should be resolved, because at the end of the day, our county assemblies must function. They must oversight. Mr. Speaker, your success story in Kilifi County would not have been successful without a functioning, reasonable county assembly, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we should also challenge the MCAs to be part of this conversation, so that what we do here is very critical. And Mr. Speaker, I am happy that the Committee on Devolution has said the MCAs of Nyamira should do their sitting in a gazetted place, and also the status quo be maintained, Mr. Speaker, because the Speaker, Enoch Okero, if the substantive Speaker should proceed, Mr. Speaker. We have seen a Speaker, the Speaker that was elected was called tedious, Mr. Speaker, yet he has not resigned as an MCA. So there is a lot that MCAs should try and avoid such an hygienic way, Mr. Speaker. And I want to emphasize this, Mr. Speaker, because as I drive my point home, hot, like a hot nail, is that even if you have to do anything, do it within the law. Do it within the Constitution. Even if you have to change a county assembly speaker, follow the law, follow the court's direction, Mr. Speaker. And I hope the issues that is affecting Nyamira County can be resolved and allow Speaker Enoch Okero and others and the rest of the speakers of this country to proceed. Number two, Mr. Speaker, for example, Nandi is scouting of talents. I know whenever Senator Chimera is organizing a tournament, you invite scouts to come and see, Mr. Speaker, to come and watch, to come and spot talent. The only way we can do that is by building serious sports academy in this republic, Mr. Speaker. So even if Chimera, myself, I normally organize volleyball, Mr. Speaker, at the lowest level in Nandi, we normally invite Kenya Volleyball Association, we invite people like Coach Paul Bitok, who is one of the prolific volleyballer in this country, Mr. Speaker. They normally come, even when we have athletics competition within Nandi, we normally invite. But it is sad that as we talk, Nandi being the source of champions, we don't have a functional stadium, Mr. Speaker. Kipchoge Stadium, the governor wants to convert it into a market. So you wonder where the priorities, and I'm happy our in-law is conversant with our local issues. By force, he must be aware of the problems we are facing in Nandi. Kipchoge Keino Stadium, which is the trademark. Mr. Speaker, the reason you know athletics in Kenya is because of Kipchoge Stadium in Kapsabet. The governor wants to convert it to use to sell cows and sell mitumba, Mr. Speaker. Yet that stadium should be used to train our upcoming athletes and establish a sports academy in Kapsabet town, Mr. Speaker. And you can see even in financial year 2024-2025, according to the approved budget of Nandi County, Mr. Speaker, of 2022-2025, it was approved to 169,497,537 million. This is close to 170 million that has been put to sports in approved budget by control of budget by Nandi County Assembly, which now it cannot be shown. This money, our governor used to fly more than even assist one football, even one ball or even one net. But he prefers to fly to Israel and see where Jesus Christ was born. I want to advise him during Easter season, he should allow Jesus to be born in his heart. He should call even pastors so that we can tell him where Jesus, when Jesus died in Jerusalem, he went to heaven. Now, as Christians, we are being told Jesus to be born in our hearts. So why spend a lot of money going to look where Jesus was born instead of us assisting through this 170 million, Mr. Speaker, that was allocated? There is not even one ball, even one net, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as we proceed, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Honorable Senator, it is now 6:30. You have a balance of 11 minutes. Once we resume, you will consume your 11 minutes. Then we proceed. Otherwise, let us be upstanding. Now, Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m. Time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 6th of May, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.
We also work on creating documents, feature stories, explainer videos, 3D animation, and anything media related. We also offer consultation on media related topics. Our work is timely, professional, and very affordable. So talk to us, soundcandytalk@gmail.com, or you can call us on 0718 45 45 85. Sound Candy Talk is timely, accurate, professional, and affordable. You have a complaint or a compliment, any question concerning our broadcasting, contact us soundcandytalk@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and X at Sound Candy Talk. Call us on 0718 45 45 85. Are you looking for video live streaming services? You want your church services to be on air? You do not know where to market your goods and services? At Sound Candy Talk, we deliver the best live stream services for your events, product and service launches, conferences, weddings, and live. Reach on us today.